title Purusha Shukta Canto. So Purusha Shukta is a standard prayer which is found in all the Vedas. I mean 3 Vedas, Rigveda, Sama. Okay, it's found all the 3 Vedas. Okay. And it is accepted, the authority of Purusha Shukta is accepted by everyone across the board. Like no one disputes Purusha Shukta. All the 6 schools, they accept Purusha Shukta. Of course, they interpret Purusha Shukta in different ways, but they all accept Purusha Shukta. They all accept it as a standard prayer. They all chant Purusha Shukta. All Vedic schools chant Purusha Shukta. Of course, some of them add a little bit, some of them subtract a little bit according to what Veda they follow. But it is generally a widely accepted hymn. So it is very important that Bhagavatam actually reflects the subject matter of Purusha Shukta. And Bhagavatam also explains Purusha Shukta the way we should actually understand it. Bhagavatam explains Purusha Shukta in terms of the position of the Supreme Lord. And especially this section, or this chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam is closely related to Purusha Shukta. Of course, the next class we will see the relationship between both the hymns. So we'll just have the overview first.
Same verses are there, Prabhuji. Same in all the Vedic schools.
Yeah. All the Vedas have Purusha Shukta same. Sahasra Sridhasa, Purusha, Sahasra, Sahasrapa, same thing they have. Only thing, some of them stop with 8 slokas, some of them go up to 12 slokas, like that. Some of them stop with Vedameta, Purusham Mahantam. So with that word, some of them stop. Some of them go beyond and then have few more shlokas. So it's just that some of them is more, some of them is less, like that. But otherwise, the basic text is same. It's exactly the same. Okay? Start. Stop.
Verse 40 of 6, verse 17. The Lord is both the efficient and the clear cause. Verse 18 to 22. Comparison of material world and the spiritual world. Verse 20 to 30. Brahmadesh expression, which we are relating to the Lord. Confirmation that the Lord is the clear cause.
Final verse 31 to 33. Final answers of Brahma. Verses 34 to 38. Brahma establishes his authority. Verses 39 to 46, description of the Purusha.
So, this is more or less the overview of the whole chapter. Okay. So, in this, we saw that the Lord is both the efficient and the material cause. So, generally, in Vedic literature or in any philosophy, the analysis of cause, even in Western philosophy, the analysis of cause is a very, what causes something to happen. This analysis is a very important analysis. Every philosophy analyzes this because cause and effect is what we see. If there is some cause, there is an effect. So cause and effect is generally what we observe. So naturally, philosophies are interested in analyzing cause and effect. Okay. So there is generally different philosophies have causes enumerated in different ways. In generally Vedic literature, we have material cause, efficient cause, and instrument cause. So, the standard example given to explain this is a pot, a mud pot. So, what is the material cause of the mud pot? Material cause is also sometimes called as ingredient cause. So, it becomes clear. So, what is the material cause of the mud pot? Clay. And water, clay, and what is the big? This is a big discussion. This is actually Generally, when we say clay pot, we say the ingredient is clay. But it's not only clay. It's clay, there's water, and then fire. Energy is a fire. So there's clay, water, fire, and ether, this way. Okay. So these are all considered as the material cost of, or the ingredient cost of the pot. Okay. So what is the efficient cost?
Capabilities of the potter.
Yes, the potter is the efficient cost. Okay. So what is the instrument cost? The potter's wheel is the instrument cost. Okay, clear? The standard example given to demonstrate these causes in a very literature. Okay? So you have a pot. So the pot is made up of earth, water, fire, and space. So these are all considered as material cost. Space and air. Yeah. So and then the efficient cost is the potter who actually makes the pot.
And the instrument also.
Potter is not the instrument. The instrument is the wheel, because he uses wheel to make the pot. That is the instrument. He uses the potter's wheel to make the pot. So that's the instrument. So that's the instrument cost. Efficient cost means what to actually mixes everything and makes it happen. So that's it. Yeah, one who creates it. So of course, all of them created. All the causes created. Yeah? Yeah, all the causes created. Okay, it's not that only the efficient cause creates. All the causes created. That's why they are called causes. Okay. But the one who actually brings everything together and makes it happen is the efficient cause. So the pot. Yeah, the Dhamma of the pot. The pot. Okay. So different philosophies analyze creation in terms of these causes. Okay, again, all the different philosophies they analyze creation in terms of these causes. Okay. For example, Sankhya philosophy says the material cause is no, I'm not talking about pot, I'm talking about the creation, more creation. Yeah, perfect creation. Okay, the efficient cause is Jiva. Okay, this is what Sankhya philosophy says. Okay. Correct?
Because he is the one.
No, Brahma is there, but he is also a Jiva. We also say Brahma is Jiva. We don't differ from that. We also say that Brahma is Jiva. We don't say Brahma is somebody else. We also accept Brahma is Jiva, right? So, Jiva is considered the efficient cost, and present is considered as the ingredient cost. So, is correct? Is it correct?
Yeah.
Wrong. According to Sankhya. But according to our philosophy?
Wrong.
It's wrong. Why is it wrong? Even though superficially it looks like the Prakriti is the material cost and Jiva is the efficient cost, but actually the material cost and the efficient cost is Jiva, is the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Okay, so he is the material cost and the efficient cost. Okay, so that's the reason why he is called as. These are all secondary causes. The Jiva is a secondary cause, Prakriti is a secondary cause, but the primary cause is the Lord. So in that sense, He is the material cause, He is the efficient cause also. So in this chapter, this will be established clearly that the Lord is the material cause and He is the efficient cause. Okay. So in this chapter or in this description of the Virat Rupa, what is our focus? Our focus is
The Lord.
always in all the three descriptions of Virat Rupa, Lord is the focus for us. But what is our focus? Particular focus. The Lord is the source of everything. Okay, He is the source of everything. That is our particular focus. So, in line with the focus, in this chapter you will see that the
What is Sankhya? What is instrument in Sankhya?
Yeah, there's got so much discussion on the instrument cost. Yeah, they say by proximity it happens. In Sankhya they say it happens by proximity, but there's not so much discussion on the instrument cost. Sometimes instrument cost is considered as time also.
So we also have Bhakti in our philosophy.
For us, everything is Krishna.
Even instrument.
Everything is Krishna. For us, our main focus is to establish that He is cause of all causes. Sarva Karana Karana. He is the cause of all causes. All other causes are dependent causes. He is the independent cause. He is called, in the first sloka of Bhagavatam, he is called as? It's called as Swarat. It means that he is independent. So he is completely independent. He is the independent cause. All other causes are simply dependent on him. They are all dependent causes. He is independent cause. Okay? Yes.
Question.
Yeah.
So in the Sankhya philosophy, what you are actually saying is that there are three different causes, which doesn't make sense actually, because there has to be one source.
Yes.
Ideally. So I mean, this is quite a easy way to understand that that's not functional, because there has to be one source.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about the Prakriti Jiva.
Yeah.
So what is the cause of the Prakriti Jiva?
So they say the Prakriti is Anand.
So it's independent and Jiva is independent.
Yeah, they say Prakriti is Anand. They quote, even Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Prakriti Purushas Vividya Anand Bhava says that Prakriti is Anand. When Krishna says Prakriti is Anand. So they just take that statement. They don't take the other statements. They just, so they don't take the other statements. They don't assemble all other statements and then they say that Prakriti is dependent on Brahman. And there is, for them there is basis for saying that because they interpret the word Brahman like that. So that there is a reason why they actually have basis to say that. It's not that they don't have basis to say that. But the basis is ill-considered. That is our point. That's what you are also saying. That the basis which they come to a conclusion is completely ill-considered. But they do quote, you have to understand, all philosophy do quote proper references. They all quote proper references. But all these references they quote is actually not considered proper. They are inconsidered. They don't reconcile fully.
But then how would we, for example, if there is a discussion and somebody comes up with this point as a quote, and some classic evidence that Prakriti is independent, then you have to bring it in a perspective also. I mean, if somebody has classic evidence for that.
No, we have classic evidence. No. Like we can say, like Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, that Prakriti Mahanadi, no, this one, what is that? What is that? The 7 point, he says that Bhumi Rapana Vayim Atona Utreva Ahankara Ityam Vinna Prakriti. Mind Prakriti, which is there. And also he says Mama Maya Prakriti. Okay. So he says my Maya, which is different. So like that, there is evidence from Bhagavad Gita which we can quote, but also there are other evidences. So that's the reason why Prabhupada says that in Bhagavatam first canto, Prabhupada says that you should study Vedanta Sutra. So if you study Vedanta Sutra, then you will be able to actually properly defend. So study Vedanta Sutra. Yeah, Prabhupada says that. Study Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra, then you will be able to actually properly defend. So study Vedanta Sutra. Yeah, Prabhupada says that. So, but to study Vedanta Sutra, first we should study Bhagavatam fully. And we should then Charitamrita fully. And then we can think of studying Vedanta Sutra. But before that, we should study another verse. So that's the sequence. You study Bhagavatam, you study Charitamrita, you study the another verse, and then you go to study Vedanta Sutra. Because these are all actually lead to Vedanta Sutra. So, of course, if you want, you can study some sections of Vedanta Sutra. It's very tiring to study. Really put your mind. Anyway, the point is that we can easily establish with the authority of Bhagavatam. That's why we are studying all this. Like, I And Prabhupada quotes profusely from Vedanta Sutra in the purports. Like for example, if you see these purports, this 6th chapter purports especially, Prabhupada is profusely quoted from Shruti, from Purusha Sutta, from different Upanishads. So Prabhupada is profusely quoted, and that is sufficient for us. So if we actually study for all practical purposes to actually destroy any opposition which comes in front of us, Prabhupada's purports are fully sufficient, they are fully, so we don't have to worry about it. Only thing we need to scrutinize when we study those purports, and if you want to specifically argue that way, then we should actually note down those references which Prabhupada used from Shruti, and then we should have a notes of that, like Prabhupada used this from Shruti, so we have to use this to destroy this, we have to use this to destroy, like that we should make notes, like that. Specifically certain purports where Prabhupada is giving very like Isha is full of examples, quotes from Shruti. Prabhupada quotes left, right and center from this Upanishad, that Upanishad, Gopal, Upanishad, Vaibhav Upanishad, Canto Upanishad. So Isha is a very important book in that sense, that Isha Upanishad should be studied nicely. And there are certain slokas like Chatashwati Bhagavad Gita. If you see, Prabhupada quoted extensively from Shruti. And same way we see Sanskrit Bhagavatam, and this chapter, this 6th chapter, Prabhupada quoted extensively from Shruti. So that is quite good enough for us to actually generally face any audience. Let's get a little more technical, then we need to get into study of it. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, if we study, in fact, gives very good understanding of the basic, how to explain and how to defeat, especially in an argument situation, how to defeat, how to explain, pretty clearly. So we will just persevere, study Prabhupada's books one by one, and then we will go on. Okay? So that is the focus for us in this chapter, that we will establish that the Lord is the material cause and He is also the efficient cause. And Brahma will establish it by his own experience also, that how the Lord is the material cause and the efficient cause. Okay? So we have some work for you. So before we get into the work, we will actually divide the work strategies. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So 4. Okay. 5. So 4 of you can become one group. Then all of them, and probably you can join this group. So that makes you and the other. So we make how many groups? Oh, we will need
3 groups.
Oh, we need 4 groups. So
We hit the 3.
So 3.
3 into 3.
3. Okay, like this. 3. So you join after 3. So 3. So 3 here, 3 there, 3 there. Okay, done. Okay, easy. Okay. So these are the 4 sections which you need to study. Okay, before getting into it, let us just read up to 23. The sloka translations up to 23. Okay, one by one, let's read up to 23. Let's start. Read the first one, so we'll go one by one. We'll read translations up to 23.
Very good. Translation for the text one. Lord Brahma
1 to
said,
23.
Lord Brahma said, the mouth of the Virata Purusha, the universal form of the Lord, is the generating center of the voice, and the controlling deity is fire. His skin and 6 other layers are the generating centers of the Vedic hymns, and his tongue is the productive center of different foodstuffs and delicacies for offering to the demigods, the forefathers, and the general mass of people. Continue.
No, one by one.
His two nostrils are the generating center of our breathing and all other airs. His smelling powers generate the Ashwini Kumar demigods and all kind of medicinal herbs. And his breathing energies produce different kind of fragrance.
His eyes are generating centers of all kinds of forms and they glitter and illuminate. His eyeballs are like the sun and the heavenly planets. His ears hear from all sides and are receptacles for all the Vedas. And his sense of hearing is the generating center of the sky and of all kinds of sound.
His bodily surface is the breeding ground for the active principles of everything and for all kinds of auspicious opportunities. His skin, like the moving hand, is the generating center for all kinds of sense of touch and is the place for performing all kinds of sacrifice.
The hairs on his body are the causes of all vegetation, particularly of those trees which are required as ingredients for sacrifice. The hairs on his head and face are reservoirs for the clouds, and his nails are the breeding ground of electricity, stones, and iron ore.
Lord's arms are the protective wings for the great demigods and other leaders of the living entities which protect the Balaramadesh.
Thus the forward steps of the Lord are the shelter for the upper, lower and heavenly planets, as well as for all that we need. His lotus feet serve as protection from all kinds of fear.
From the Lord genitals originate water, cement, generators, rains, and the procreators, which genitals of the God for pleasure that contracts the distress of the living. Onara, evacuating outlet of the universal form of the Lord is the mode of controlling the of death, Mitra, and the evacuating hole and the rectum of the Lord is a place of envy, misfortune, death, hell, etc. The back of the Lord is the place for all kinds of frustration and ignorance as well as for immortality. From his veins flow the great rivers and rivers, and on his bones are stacked the great mountains.
The impersonal feature of the Lord is a abode of the great oceans, and his belly is the resting place for the material and created living entities. His heart is the abode of the subtle material bodies of living beings. Thus, it is known by the intelligent person.
Also, the consciousness of that great personality is the abode of religious principles, mine, yours, and those of the four bachelors, Sanatkumar and Sanatan. The consciousness is also the abode of truth and transcendental knowledge.
Beginning from me, Brahma, down to you, Shiva, all the great sages who were born before you, the demigods, the demons, the nagas, the human beings, the birds, the beasts, as well as the reptiles, etc., are all phenomenal manifestations of the universes, namely the planets, stars, asteroids, luminaries, lightning, thunder, and the inhabitants of the different planetary systems, namely the Gandharvas, the Apsaras, the Akshas, Rakshasas, Bhutaganas, Puragas, Pashus, Pitas, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, Charanas, and all other different varieties of living entities, including the birds, beasts, trees, and everything that be, are all covered by the universal form of the Lord at all the times, namely past, present, and future. Although he is transcendental to all of them, eternally existing in a form not exceeding 9 inches.
The sun illuminates both internally and externally by expanding its radiation. Similarly, the Supreme Personal Godhead, by expanding his universal form, maintains everything in the creation both internally and externally.
Supreme Personality Godhead is the controller of immorality and fearlessness, and he is transcendental to death and the fruitive action of the material world. O Narada, O Brahmana, it is therefore difficult to measure the glories of the Supreme Person.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is to be known as the supreme reservoir of all material opulences by the 1/4 of his energy in which all the living entities exist. deathlessness, fearlessness, and freedom from the anxieties of old age and disease exist in the kingdom of God, which is beyond the 3 higher planetary systems and beyond the material coverings.
The spiritual world, which consists of 3/4 of the Lord's energy, is situated beyond this material world, and it is especially meant for those who will never be reborn. Others who are attached to the family life and who do not strictly follow celibacy vows must live within the 3 material worlds.
My inner is the all-pervading personality of God is thus comprehensively the master in the activities of controlling and in devotional service. He is the ultimate master of both the science and factual knowledge of all situations.
The personality of God is all the universal globes and the universal form which all material elements, qualities, and senses are generated. Yet he is above from such material manifestations, like the sun, which is separate from its rays.
When I was born from the abdominal lotus flower of the Lord, Mahavishnu, the great person, I had no ingredients for sacrificial performances except the body limbs of the great personality of God.
Okay.
Read.
We will stop here. We will go to exercise. Okay, you can, along with the math, you can do 1. You can do 2. Householders. Okay. And you can do 3. Compare, contrast mental world and spiritual world. And you can do the 4th one. Devotees in Mayavadis and the importance of gratitude. So, you can, if you want, you can take paper from here, put your points, and then you can present to the class. You have about 20 minutes to prepare.
How the Lord as the ultimate source of all the energies. So we were given 6.1 and 6.6. So the main thing of 6.6 is that every person, does the same person know that he is neither absolute nor independent? If they simply discharge their respective occupational duties, they can achieve the highest perfection. So what Prabhupada writes in 6.6 is, just like industrialist or a business magnate or a engineer or an architect, so they are very proud of their powers and their influence. So what we have to understand that for the universal affairs are also dealt by Brahmas and the other demigods. So the basic understanding there in that purport is that we have to understand that ultimately the power comes from the Supreme Personality of God, the God. So God is behind the powers of the universal affairs, just like Brahma and all, they accept it. Similarly, in the material affair here on the earthly planet, all these people should understand that ultimately the power comes from the Supreme Personality of God. So that is basically the fundamental understanding of that purport. And if we don't have that understanding, then what will happen is, then we are always be affected by the Maya. Prabhupada writes that, either you are influenced by Maya, or if we have the understanding of the Supreme Personality, then you are secure. Just like the demigods, they are also maintaining the whole universe, but they accept the source of power behind them. So that is the fundamental understanding, and then that is in 6.6. Then in 6.1, the practical way of understanding that is Prabhupada quotes Sarvapadi Vinirmuktam, all the senses leadership position. What we need is basically the power to, speech power has to be there. So that also, if all that senses are utilized in the service of the Lord, then it is purified and then that becomes effective. So first understanding is this, that ultimately the Lord is the source of everything, and the second understanding is, or the practical understanding is that we have to utilize all our senses in the service of the Lord. And one analogy Prabhupada gives in 6.6, I forgot that is in there, just like obedient son. I'll just read it out. It says, the obedient son of the Father never goes against the will of the Father, and therefore passes life very peacefully in concurrence with the head of the family, that is Father. Similarly, the Lord, being the Father of all living beings, should fully and satisfactorily discharge the duty and will of the Father as faithful sons. This very mentality will at once bring peace and prosperity within the society, and that's what is needed for leadership and for in our personal life. And one more thing, in our personal life, Prabhupada writes in purport 6.1 that it is the attachment. He writes about the attachment, excessive attachment to the material things, family. This attachment of the material affinity may be simply changed to the service of the Lord, and thus the treatment of being free from the material attachment brings automatically peace and everything. So that's the understanding of the leaders as well as for the personal relationship.
That's the term.
Actually, this Srila Prabhupada very clearly states over here that it's a very, for us, it's very unusual for us, that there is very less possibility of a Grihastha reaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Srila Prabhupada very clearly and nicely explains us the second point of Lord as a cause of all causes. Now, when we say sex life, why actually that sex life also exists? So Prabhupada makes it very clear that sex life is also pleasure potency of the Lord. When it's a pleasure potency of the Lord, if it is used for Lord, then we are saved. If it is not used for Him, then it is saved. Like stena takela mujita madhya. So whatever is there in this material world, if it is used for the quota which is stipulated in a right way, and then it is used for the Lord, then we are out of the danger. And then here, Prabhupada explains the one person who uses that sex pleasure for his own self, that is called perverted usage of the sex, large potency, and he is termed here as less intelligent. Obviously, because that misuse makes him not only to get distress, but also will make him entangled in the repeated cycle of births. And the same thing, if a devotee, if a conscious person, under the consciousness that the pleasure potency is for the Lord's service, he uses it in a pure form and then begets achievements of spiritual values, then he comes out of the repeated cycle of birth and he himself not only making his generations to go back to Godhead, he also can end his cycle of birth and then Prabhupada in another chapter explains about the celibacy. Actually, in the Varnashrama Dharma, Prabhupada explains the basic intent of Brahmacharya or Vanaprastha or Sannyasa. That means in the Vanaprastha, in the 4 orders, complete 3 orders aim at only one thing, that they don't want to have a rebirth. But the only grihastha, I mean, then when we say the married life, there are two stages. One is grihastha and grihapedi. A person who is intelligent can be termed as a grihastha, and a person who is less intelligent is as a grihapedi. Grihapedi will obviously will have to undergo all these cycles of birth and death. The moment, after explaining it here, there is every possibility of falling down of a grihastha or even the other three cycles, the varnashramas also. And Lord is so causeless, so munificent that he makes arrangements for everything, even by chance, by mistake, even these, or accidentally, even the higher orders, or even the grihastha falls down also, because he sincerely tries to please the Lord by using it in a pure form. Then he gives them another chance of getting a birth in a pious family and getting in contact with the devotee, pure devotee. The moment you get in contact with a pure devotee, your cycle of birth will cease.
Who have deliberately broken the vow of celibacy.
Yeah.
That means like deliberately broken the vow.
Actually, it should not be broken. They should understand that pleasure potency is of the Lord's and it should have been used for the Lord's pleasure. But they deliberately use it for their pleasure. The moment that is Brahmati who is using for his pleasure, then he comes in the cycle of birth. So there is a good chance of the devotees who takes Krishna consciousness, the grihastha, the family people who takes to Krishna consciousness, there is a fair chance or equivalent chance of the other three ashramas to go back to God.
So grihasthas are also like they have taken the vow of celibacy.
Yes. It is there that the grihastha also have stipulated, I mean, the sex life they can use it to beget the children, but they have to take the responsibility.
Right?
Yes. The responsibility of making them to the spiritual values. So that there is no limit also. Prabhupada sometimes says you can create 100 things also.
Prabhuji, Prabhupada also writes there like the pleasure potency of the Lord is given to the Jivatma so they can beget the children. So if somebody is like continuously begetting children, so are they still called celibacy or?
Okay.
Because they are in service of the Lord. Because that particular potency is given to the Jivat, so offspring can come up, right?
My understanding was Jiva being part and parcel of the Lord, it's not only that the Lord has given to it, but he possesses it, the natural tendency of loving others. So that loving others, if he invests that love towards the Lord, he is a pure form. But the same love, if he uses it for his own personal ways of pleasure, that pleasure causes him distress and then cycle of birth. And the question was who?
I mean, this particular pleasure potency comes from the Lord and it is given to the Jiva, so he can continue like begetting the children. Otherwise they will stop. That's what is mentioned specifically. So that means begetting the children is the service to the Lord.
Yes. No, actually, I would say that the Lord has given.
It is only part. Krishna conscious children. After getting them, bringing them in the Krishna consciousness, that it makes it complete.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or just having children.
No, that is not.
Then
Yeah.
says
Prabhupada says that children of spiritual values.
Yeah. This one person speaks so that we can listen.
So as Prabhu rightly said, that the Lord has given, you can say it is not Lord has given. We being part of the parcel of the Lord, we
Purport is related.
follow Krishna consciousness or not, that is not sure, right? So begetting children is also a service to the Lord.
definitely,
First step towards the Lord.
definitely, having understood that whosoever is coming to this material world, he is coming to purify. So by giving the spiritual values for the children whom you beget, you are giving an opportunity for a fallen soul not to go for a repeated birth but go back to Godhead Lord. So that way it becomes definitely a service of the Lord. So the Lord will be pleased.
But responsibility don't end by giving birth. Responsibility does not end by only giving birth to the child.
Yes. That's it.
Even otherwise responsibility.
Also not the strict rule.
Responsibility never ends.
Responsibility is always there.
Okay, I think most of it was explained. I'll just make some technical points. I know this is touchy topic.
Yes.
So just make some technical points. So, see, as far as celibacy is concerned, it's explained in third canto that there are 4 types of celibates. Okay, Savitra, Prajapatya, Brahman, and Brother. For the studies that canto will study this. Okay.
What is the first one?
Savitra, Prajapatya, Brahman, and Brother. Okay. So there are 4 types of celibates who are there. Like there are 4 types of brahmacharis, 4 types of grahasthas, 4 types of vanaprasthas, 4 types of sannyasis. Okay. So these are the 4 types of brahmacharis. So a Savitra brahmachari is one who actually accepts to go of celibacy for 3 nights before marriage. Okay. So from the time he accepts the thread, so he accepts celibacy for 3 nights before marriage.
He accepts
3 nights celibacy.
I see.
Before marriage. So that's it. Previously, when marriage takes place, then after that they will wait for 3 nights before the union takes place. Previously it used to be the system. Normally in India, that they will not have the union immediately on the same day.
Right.
Nowadays that system is gone. Okay? But previously it used to be like that. Previously they will wait for minimum 3 nights because everyone is treated as at least a minimum Savitra brahmachari. That one waits for 3 nights before their brother is born. So then Brahma means that one actually follows brahmacharya vrata till he actually masters his portion of the Vedas. So this is one type of brahmachari.
So the celibacy before marriage is not counted.
Celibacy is before marriage, you see.
That Savitra,
Yeah.
after marriage 3 days.
Yeah, normally before the everybody is celibate.
So that is not.
That's natural. Like there's nothing like there was no dating system. There was no system there.
No, the point is you got the product, then still you maintain celibacy.
It is what is austerity. That is austerity.
Okay, so Brahma means that till you finish your portion of the Vedas, because previously everyone used to have their portion of the Vedas which they are supposed to master. So a Brahmana who actually maintains celibacy till he masters his portion of the Vedas is called Brahma. Okay. Then Brahat means nice to brahmachari. Like in the beginning, in the first canto, it was explained that Dasa split the Vedas into 4, and then he gave the different department of Vedas to different rishis. Okay, and all of us, we are all followers, or we are all coming in the gotra of different rishis. Like if you see your gotra, you will have some rishis gotra. So everyone has the gotra of a rishi. Okay, so that rishi will have his portion of Vedas, which he is a master and he is teaching in disciplic succession. So then everybody will study their portion. So everyone knew that this is the portion of my portion of Vedas which I need to study. Okay. So that's how it comes. So one who maintains brahmacharya till he masters his portion of Vedas is called Brahma. Okay. Brahat means that he is nicely a brahmachari. He is brahmachari for life. So that is Prajapati brahmachari. Prajapati brahmachari means a person who actually is married. This person is married. Okay. So, but how does he maintain his brahmacharya? He approaches his wife once in a year in the right season for the purpose of begetting proper children. Once in a year. Once in a year for the purpose of begetting proper children. So he is also considered as brahmachari. He is not considered as one who is engaged in sex life. He is properly considered as brahmachari. Okay.
On the same level as Savitra.
Yeah. On the same level of all the four are brahmacharis. All the four are brahmacharis.
But the first one is called brahmachari only for those 3 days, right?
Yeah, only for 3 days. Yeah. And this one, he is actually brahmachari. He is for lifetime brahmachari. Okay. So Prajapati is also lifetime brahmachari. Brahma is limited brahmachari till he finishes. Brahat is also considered lifetime brahmachari. So these two people are considered lifetime brahmacharis. One is married, he has a wife, and he also has children. Okay. And the other one is not married, he doesn't have a wife, no children. But both of them are considered as lifetime brahmacharis. So that's what Prabhupada means when he says that one has deliberately broken the vow of celibacy. So if this person, even though he is married, he is considered as celibate. So if you don't follow this system, then we are deliberately breaking the vow of celibacy. That's what Prabhupada means. Deliberately breaking the vow of celibacy.
They are on the same level.
Yeah, they are the same level. Yes. They are all brahmacharis. Right. So that's what we take. That's the standard. That's where it is. That's where it lies. Okay. That's brahmachari life. That's celibacy in household life. This is called celibacy in household life. Even though one person is celibate, so celibacy in household life. Of course, difficult standard to follow. Okay. So then, what is the next alternative? Prabhupada explains in the purport that the next alternative is that one accepts vanaprastha at the age of 50, which means that at least at the age of 50, one completely stops everything which is related to sex life. Which means actively trying to maintain the family, actively trying to maintain the body, means actively trying to acquire resources, actively trying to have children, to engage in sex life. One at least finishes that at the age of 50, one gives this whole story that I am done, I am finished. Okay. Then Prabhupada says in the later part of the purport that after having accepted vanaprastha sannyasa, if one falls down, that is considered above. Yeah. So you can see that Prabhupada's purport quite practical. That Prabhupada accounts for everything. That of course Prabhupada makes the statement, which is the standard, that one should not deliberately break the vow of celibacy. Whether one is married or not married, one is expected to be celibate according to the standard of Srimad Bhagavatam. But then there are practical considerations where one will not be able to hold such a high standard. So then comes the next thing, that at least at the age of 50, one completely gives up sex life and then focuses on spiritual life. But the point the central point which Prabhupada makes and Bhagavatam makes again and again is that unless one gives up sex life, one cannot become serious with spiritual life. This is something which we all need to understand. And Prabhupada makes it clear in this purport that if we don't give up sex life, then we cannot enter into the kingdom of God. So that's the basic qualification, because sex life means envy. The basis of sex life in material world is envy. So one has to give up sex life. Yeah.
Prabhuji, for the role of a woman or a lady, so she would be basically doing the 3 ashrams, like minus the sannyas. Like, what is the role of how we divided the life in those ashrams? So, what is
She goes up to one.
She goes up to one first from brahmachari, then she goes to the sannyas.
She doesn't have brahmachari life. She is not like, she's whatever a boy practices in his brahmachari training, a girl simply gets all the training by practicing to remain chaste. So that's what the girl gets. That a boy practices many things in brahmacharya. He practices to learn Vedas, that, this, that, do. He does so many things. But a girl simply learning from her mother how to remain chaste, she gets all the qualification the boy is going to get by all that study. Okay. And the boy gets his qualification to study Vedas and then to perform yajna by Upanayana ceremony. Okay. The girl gets a qualification to study Vedas and perform yajna by marriage ceremony. So when the girl is married, then she gets a qualification. So what Upanayana does for a boy, marriage does for the girl. Then they are on, once they are married, they are on, they go through their rest of life, and then after that, Vanaprastha.
So, but you have a question, like you're saying that by 50 you should leave the household life, but there should also be a like upper limit to get married, right? I think nowadays with the late marriages, everything.
By 25 you should get married.
The boys.
The boy should be 25, girl should be 60. That's what Prabhupada says.
Pushing the whole ashram ahead, like 50, like 10 years, if you say 50, then I think by the time you have children and, you know, I'm just thinking.
Yeah, of course. So the reasonable thing is that from the time you get married, you add, like, you get married, from the time the man gets married, you add another 25 years. And then say that at this age, he has to take on this. So you add like 25, so you will get, wherever you will land up, you will land up in that number.
It's not important that it's 50, it can be 53, 55.
No, it's important that it is 50. See, one thing we have to understand is that because we cannot do it, okay, we should not think that it is not important.
No, depending on the situation.
No, that's why I explained it. Okay? I just explained that. Okay? See, the point is that Shastra says Panchashrota Manambraje. Okay? I cannot change it, you cannot change it. That is Shastra. And you have to accept whatever Shastra says is correct. Okay? But because we have lived a life which is a little more complicated than what Shastra says, so then in our generation we may not be able to do it for whatever reason. Then you add 25 years to whatever, wherever you started, and then add 25 years and then get to wherever you need to finish. Okay? But that doesn't mean that our children cannot do it.
That's why there was a child marriage before. Because a child marriage is there, they maintain celibacy even before.
Yeah.
And after 50, they will not actually, they will not have the temptation.
Oh, I have a small doubt.
So let us finish this discussion. Okay. So our situation may be that we are getting married at whatever age we are getting married. Okay. That's okay. That we cannot change because that's our situation. Okay. But that doesn't stop our children from we get our children married in the proper age. Okay. And give them that opportunity to live a proper life and get retired at the proper time. So that is very important. That aspect is quite significant in understanding that. And we should actually train the children in such a way that they get married at the right age. So our verse is specific, that's not a problem. And we don't lose anything also. Prabhupada says in the purport of 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita that the Krishna consciousness is so powerful that even a lay beginner can achieve success. So it doesn't matter that it's not a disqualification that we began late. As long as we stick to the principles, as long as we do what we are supposed to do, then we can also go back and back to Godhead. So that's not a disqualification. But the next generation can be properly qualified. That is the reason why they are born to devotees. Why they are born to devotees? So that they can be properly qualified. We should just give them an opportunity by which they can get properly qualified.
Guided and misguided.
Yeah, guided. We should not get confused that okay, it's okay to get let them enjoy life, like that. We should not give them. That's it. As long as we don't have the principle. But whatever is happening to our life now, we cannot change it. It's just, you can't reset things. It's just not possible. So we accept it.
But even if you want to get our daughters married at 16, I think the scenario is not...
No, it's not like that. Marriage is very common. It's extremely common in marriage.
But at the same time, getting married at 35, 40 and then waiting for another 25 years, it's again ridiculous.
No, I mean definitely at least...
Please don't make extreme statements like, it's ridiculous. We need to be focused in Krishna consciousness, okay? And whatever is our life is our life, okay? Whether we got married at 25 or 35 or 45, whatever it is. There are devotees who actually gave their entire youth to Prabhupada, okay? And then they got married. That's not ridiculous, okay? They actually gave their youth to the movement. They were, when we were trying to get married, they were actually on the road selling books. Okay, they spent their entire youth doing that. So it's not so. That's why in Krishna consciousness
is important.
It's very difficult to actually make some sweeping statements like that. So we have to see that individually how different devotees have lived their different lives. Even let's say that it's not like that person wasted his life for, let's say, for 30 years or 35 years, whatever he did nonsense. But after 35 he got married, at 40 he comes to Krishna consciousness. It's good, nothing is lost because at 40 he came to Krishna consciousness. The principle is that yena kena prakarena mana prashna nivase, that take your mind to Krishna somehow or other. But then, having said that, we should also understand that Bhagavatam requests us to do these things. Prabhupada actually expects us to do these things. That's why he's writing the purport. It's not that he's writing them in the purport for nothing. He's just writing them in the purport so that we understand that this is the standard. And our generation may be too late, but next generation always is possible. Always the next generation can be trained. And another practical answer to your question is that at 16 or at 13 and 14, now girls are dating. And that's accepted. That's illicit sex. Yeah? That's accepted. So why can't we get them married at 16? It's not something like, the nature of Kali Yuga is that what is wrong becomes right. And what is right becomes wrong. For consensual sex, the age they want to reduce. And for marriage, they want to increase the age. In India, it's happening. Right? They want to reduce the age of consensual sex to 16, and they want to increase the age of marriage to 20. So that's the nature of Kali Yuga, but we have got nothing to do with Kali Yuga.
I just meant the local laws and other things, legalities of the country, basically.
Yeah, but then,
This is a way around it.
it's not like that. It's not like if you really want to do it, it's not like that. So it's not so difficult. In my group, generally, if girl is 13, then they are really looking for her match. And then by the time she's 16, 17, 18, maximum 18, 19, she gets married. And boys also get married quite young, like 22, 23.
The government rules is that for 18.
Government is 18. 18. Government says 18. Government says 18.
Prabhuji has mentioned that, the sex life is envy.
Yeah.
How you can understand that?
Because sex life means I want to enjoy it.
But Prabhupada mentioned in the purport that because the procreation process is so difficult, so that's why Lord given that pleasure potency, so they can continue, otherwise they will stop it.
Yes.
So it's not always that it is because we want to enjoy, then we want to have.
Yeah, that's what Prabhupada says. Because you want to enjoy, you get into so much difficulty. That's what Prabhupada says in the purport. More difficulty. Because we want to enjoy, then we don't mind that difficulty.
No, that enjoyment potency is given by Lord because we will not mind that difficulty. Otherwise, you will stop. That's the reason.
Yeah. So see, if there is no incentive, okay, to produce a child in terms of sex enjoyment, if that is not there, only you have to have the child. Only the pain is there. Nobody will have the child. So logically, the sex enjoyment is given, but then the sex enjoyment itself, it comes from this mentality that I want to enjoy. So that's why it's basically a thing, that I want to be the enjoyer. Whether it is boy or girl, the bhava is Purusha bhava. Only the external form is boy or girl, but the bhava is Purusha bhava, that we be the enjoyer. So because that idea that I should be the enjoyer is there, that means it is envy. Pure sex in spiritual world is not envy, because there it's Krishna is accepted as the enjoyer, and everyone is accepting that I am getting enjoyed. So that's not it. But in material world, sex means envy, straightforward. Unless one actually is like the Prajapati, who just very focused in using sex life for having children. But that is not the case for 99 point, how many 9 you put, that many 9, that is not the case. So, it's envy. As long as the mentality that I can get some pleasure out of it is there, then it's envy. Yeah.
In spiritual world, there is no birth, death, old age and disease.
Yeah.
That means how the people will be, everybody will be same. How will be able to, suppose somebody's mother it is not like that. All are friends only.
No, there is all the bhavas are there, no? Like Vatsalya bhava is there is Shakya bhava is there is Dasya bhava is there, everything is there. Like Yashoda and Nanda, they are father and mother of Krishna.
But yes, the spiritual world.
In spiritual world also they are father and mother of Krishna. They are there in spiritual world also. It's not that the Bhava Vrindavan is actually a reflection, is actually a replica of the original Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan. So, except the demons, everybody else is same. Everybody else is there. Only the demons are not there.
Mother means aged means.
This is material conception, mother means aged. But there everyone is like, Yashoda is also, everybody is now young. Everybody is young. But the relationship is relationship of mother, that elderly feeling is there, all those things are there. But not physically, because there is no effect of time, so everyone is there. But that elderly feeling and all that is there. That bhava is there. That bhava where the feeling of elderliness is there.
But Prabhu, in terms of the jivas, I think they don't have any offspring, right?
What?
In terms of the jivas, the individual jivas, they will not have the children or...
Spiritual.
Why not?
No, in the sense that Krishna is the center, so he is considered as son by someone, he is considered as friend by someone, he is considered as lover by someone, so all of them are there. So you are saying that whether some child will be born, no child is born in spiritual.
So it's all individual jivas or...
Yeah, so they all have relationships, there is no child born in spiritual.
No, even the relationship again is only eternally serve the Lord, that's it.
Yeah.
It's nothing like a husband-wife, correct?
Yeah, husband-wife is there. Prabhupada says that husband-wife is there in Vaikuntha. Like Nanda and Yashoda, they are husband and wife. It's there, but the husband and wife relationship is not based on sex attraction for each other. In material world, the moment we talk of husband and wife, then we immediately talk of the possibility of having sex with each other. The legal possibility of having sex with each other. That's how we understand husband and wife as relationship. But in spiritual world, it is not like that. In spiritual world, husband and wife is there. They are there as husband and wife because they are there together. But together they are doing simply focused in devotional service. It's not like, like Prabhupada says that husband and wife, they are flying in the aeroplanes in Vaikuntha and they are actually seeking the glories of the Lord. There is no sex attraction between them. Like it's not that. But the man is so handsome because he looks exactly like Vishnu, and the woman is so handsome, so beautiful. Okay, but that doesn't create sex attraction between them because they are like much higher level. They no longer like attracted to each other by sex because that's purely material world. So relationships are there. Without relation, that's the main thing. That's what Mayavadis say. Nothing is there in the spiritual world. But our philosophy is everything is there in the spiritual world. Because it is there in the spiritual world, that's the reason why it is there in the material world. If there is not there in the spiritual world, it will not be there in the material world. So everything is there in the spiritual world. The seeds of all the relationships they exist in the spiritual world.
The children relationship is not there.
Children is there now.
It's also there.
It's there.
Okay.
It's there. It's not that it's not there. Everything is there. It's full of variegated things. Spiritual world is full of variegated things. All the different things which we see here is there.
All will be in purified form.
Everything is in purified form. It's not like, see here, every relationship is simply based on sex. Like child, wife, mother, father, everything has basis. What is the basis of everything? Is sex. Because of sex life, one accepts somebody as mother, somebody as father, somebody as wife, somebody as brother, somebody as sister. Everything is accepted based on, everything is centered on sex life in material world. In spiritual world, everything is centered on Krishna. I'm serving Krishna for the pleasure of Krishna. So for the pleasure of Krishna, everyone accepts different bhavas, different roles, different things which they accept, and then they all do it, simply focused on the pleasure of Krishna. Yeah. So all these things exist. It's not.
Is it because children are not born out of sexual things? They come out from mind and all that. So is it because of that in the spiritual world, or?
No, it's not like in spiritual world that it's not child born. No, they all exist eternally. Spiritual world is not something where time works. See, the moment you say a child is born, you are talking in a timeline. Right? Because the child is born at some point of time. Right? So in spiritual world, timeline doesn't work. They are all eternally there. The Tripad Vibhuti is eternally manifest. Eternally Sridhama is in front of Krishna. Eternally Chitraka, Patraka, Kartaka are servants of Krishna. So they are all eternally there. It's not that they are all born at some point of time and then they become front of Krishna. It's not like that. Eternally there. And when we go back, we simply take our eternal slot. That's what we do. Eternally we have a slot there. We just go and fit into that eternal slot. That's it.
So the number of souls are increasing there.
It's very, that's what it's nice. They compare to the number of souls in the spiritual world. The number of souls in the material world is very small. It's very less. Because it's only 25% population. 75% population is there.
It's like in train, moving train.
Yeah.
Oh, I have one.
We are already 15 minutes over time.
One last question. The Shastra is eternal, it is not for Kali Yuga.
Yeah, Shastra is eternal.
But Panchashodham Anam Vraje, 50 years, then 50 years is Kali Yuga 50 years. In Satya Yuga, people used to stay.
Yeah, so the equivalent of that 50, they will go.
I see.
I think it's relative.
Of that you.
But proportionally relative.
Yeah, and equivalent of that 50, they will go. But that idea is that
But scriptures are only for
15%, when 15% of your life is
written for Kali Yuga only.
No, the idea is that 50% of your life is over, pack your bags.
Percentage wise.
Yes.
It's a percent. It's like
Yeah.
a pie chart. So
Yeah, whatever.
proportionally.
50% of your life is over, pack your bags. That's it. No more.
Do you have one more question?
Yeah. 50% of the life. I don't mind. Okay, I don't have an office to attend tomorrow.
See, like we were just talking about like the husband and wife and some handsome husband and a beautiful wife.
Yeah.
So in the spiritual world, there is no sex attraction between like the beauty doesn't become a basis.
Yeah.
So when we say in the material world we are born with some opulences, for example.
Yeah.
So that is because of some good karma.
Yes.
But that adds on the negative level. If you have any kind of bodily feature or
Yes.
sex.
Yes.
So that acts against your spiritual
Yes.
advancement, whether
Yes.
it's in terms of
that good karma is also bad karma. Our philosophy is very clear. Kundi Purani says, Janmeshwari Shukta Shrivi, Vedavan Madhakuma, Naivardan Vidhatumai, Toama Kinchana Bocha. So our philosophy is very, very clear that whether it is good karma or bad karma, when we talk about positive bank balance, we simply talk about Acharya Sukriti, Bhakti Unnati Sukriti. Whatever the service you have done to the devotees or to the Lord without knowing that you are doing devotional service. That is what we call as positive bank balance, which pushes us to devotional service. Pious activity is against devotional service. You don't want anything.
What do you do? Like, what does a person do if he has to deal with it? Like, I mean, for example, like, because like we say that the material world is like an inverted reflection of the spiritual world. So if you have beauty and opulence in the spiritual world, the same XYZ person, if he has it in the material world, then it becomes detrimental to his spiritual life.
Yes.
So, so that's not. So I mean, pious activities are going against his spiritual life.
Yes. That's the philosophy. That's neither impious activity nor pious activity is going to help us.
But when we're doing a particular activity, oftentimes, of course, you want to spiritualize it, but if you're bearing the fruits of a pious activity, when you're doing that activity, you weren't consciously doing it to get the pious returns. But when you have it, what do you do with it? Like, I mean, if it's going against your spiritual life.
See, there are two things. One is that when you accept Krishna consciousness, you stop pious activity. When you accept Krishna consciousness, along with Krishna consciousness, you stop both pious and impious activity. You should stop. Okay. This is the first thing we do. We stop both pious and impious activity. We no longer get into pious activity or impious activity. We simply do devotional service. Okay. When we get into Krishna consciousness, we simply do devotional service. Okay. That's the reason why it is in Bhagavad Gita, in the 17th chapter and 18th chapter, Krishna explains that all the different activities in mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance, so that we can actually make a clear discrimination between what I should do and what I should not do. How should I keep myself transcendental? To the three modes. In doing all the different activities, in eating, sleeping, giving charity, in doing austerity, in vratas, all these things, how will I keep myself transcendental, not even getting caught with mode of goodness? So that's the reason why Krishna makes that entire list. So we go through that. So whenever we are in doubt, then we go through those chapters to see that what is my level of consciousness? Am I getting caught up with trying to do some pious activity, or I am in the platform of pure devotional service? So we actually should constantly strive consciously to place ourselves in the platform of pure devotional service in doing all our activities. And it is practically possible. It is not that it is not possible. It's practically possible. That's if you follow Prabhupada's instruction, it's just practically possible. It's not difficult. It's not like it's impossible. It's not like it's difficult. It is possible. Only thing we need to be conscious. That's where it makes all the difference. When we are not conscious, when we just get carried away with the flow, like in the 7th Canto, Narada says that when relatives suggest something to a grahastha, what a grahastha does? He says yes. He does. And then what he does? Externally he says yes. But internally he simply does his Krishna consciousness. He simply satisfies them by saying yes. Oh, do this, do that. No, yes. He just satisfies them by saying yes. Sabko bagar hai, then you just do your Krishna consciousness. That's it. So that's how a grahastha should be. Because grahastha means you are always getting into this. And sometimes you may have to do something. Then when you do something, then consciously we dedicate it to Krishna. Like for example, someone says that please give me a donation for the school. Okay. Then you may not be able to do anything just for local hita, like people to keep your name or whatever, that always they will say that, oh, this lady joined ISKCON and then she became like this, like that. So you want to keep good name of ISKCON to do something. So you may want to do some
Yeah?
relatives of
Yes.
consciousness.
Yeah. Most of the time when you go to marriage, that is not please give some Krishna conscious gift like your book or do something Krishna conscious. So anyway, when you join this time, many people write you off. Okay. It's good for us. It's not like even though we laugh, it's good for us. Like they already think okay, this was one crazy.
Partly liberated.
Yeah, not like it's okay, no problem. Let them call us crazy, let them call us whatever, but let's just, as long as they don't disturb us, we just remain focused on this. That's not a problem. So, pious activity is not our cup of tea. We don't want to use it. Because pious activity is also simple. It's all pratikula, it's all bhakti pratikula. So, we should consciously avoid this track of getting caught into this pious activity.